This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
Still listening to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. In a few short moments, we'll turn to the oil and gas sector for another conversation on Now Breakfast.
This is Now Breakfast.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) says that the 4 refineries under its control are not for sale. This clarification comes on the back of calls by Aliko Dangote for the sale of the refineries as they are not performing to expected capacity. Joining the conversation this morning is Ayodele Oni. Mr. Oni is an oil and gas expert. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
I want to get your initial reactions to this statement by the NNPCL.
Well, it came to me as a surprise because first reports and statements suggest that a lot of money has been spent and, in quote, wasted, and that the NNPCL won't continue in that respect. So I was surprised when I did hear that it was now going to be not longer sold. So to be honest, it came to me as a surprise.
So, Mr. Oni, if we were to look at the refineries as a whole, at least the ones under the NNPCL, how would you rate them in terms of their performance?
I think performance has been very poor. If you've been spending money on an asset and you're not making money from it, then it doesn't appear like a good investment. It may have been several years ago, but if it's well past its usefulness, then it's not an asset. It's become a liability and no longer an asset. That's my own personal view.
This then begs the question of what we should be seeing from the current NNPC leadership if they've insisted that they're keeping the refineries. And by the way, it's also a deviation from what Mr. Ojulari had said by himself just a few weeks ago or so, where he was saying nothing is off the table. It now seems that selling them off is completely off the table. What should we expect to see from the leadership as they try to revive the refineries, especially as he said that they are still potentially operational? It's just that we've not gotten to 100% of its capacity to start operating.
Okay, I don't like to be cynical. So when people say if an expert and someone who is in the leadership of a business says he thinks he can still run that business, well, maybe we'll give him the benefit of doubt. When this thing came in, we said they were experts. They are done. Seeded in private sector, they are in some cases done wonders. So I will say, well, maybe they've now conducted a proper, comprehensive technical due diligence.
Hello, Mr. Oni. Mr. Oni, can you hear us?
Yes.
We're having, I think you can hear us, but we're receiving an interruption from your end. Perhaps a repositioning will allow us to hear you better. Hello, can you hear us, sir? All right, let's try to reconnect with Mr. Ayodele Oni. We're speaking to him off the heels of, or rather on the back of the head of the NNPC, Mr. Bayo Ojulari, who's come out to say that we will not be seeing the sale of Nigeria's 4 oil refineries. And this comes just a few weeks after he had said that there was nothing off the table. There have been calls over the years for the sale of the refineries, describing them as moribund. And this is also following controversial declarations by the previous leadership of the NNPCL. If you remember, we had Mr. Mele Kyari, who was the head of the NNPCL, who had said multiple times that we were going to see the refineries, particularly the Warri refinery, back up and running. There were also plans for the Kaduna refinery to be back up and running, and at some point we were told that we had a functional refinery in the country that was owned by the government. I think we've been able to reconnect with Mr. Oni now. Mr. Oni, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Fantastic.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I wanted to add, just as you're speaking, the value of how much we've spent on the refineries over the last 20 years or so, as we've not seen a drop of oil refined from them. We have spent up to in some estimates, it says we've spent up to 17 trillion naira just trying to get them back up and running. So you were speaking to the leadership saying that they can get it back up and running, and whether we should give the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I was saying, well, I don't like to be cynical. I would say when these guys came in, everyone said, oh, everyone was excited, they had succeeded, and the different endeavors, some of them were part of buying shelf assets in Nigeria and all of that. So I'd say give them a chance. I mean, I don't know that anything will necessarily change, but we shouldn't be 100% negative all of the time. Maybe we should see the glass half full and not half empty, or even I'm empty all of the time.
So, if I may ask, perhaps the question is, would it be worth it to give the benefit of the doubt? If you consider how much we've sunk in, what the potential that we could get from the refineries if they become operational, is it worth this extension of a benefit of the doubt?
My personal view is no.
Right.
That's my personal view. But I mean, it is what it is. If they say that's what they want to do, well, it's national assets, I'm sure all have a say, right? Maybe there should even be a referendum. But it's national assets, and we should have a say. My preference would be to sell it. If we spend so much money on these assets over time, and there's been corruption around it, or serious allegations of corruption around it, even some of us who advise at some point had the view that things were really well done, and then you find out that what you thought was the case was actually not the case. You're an outsider.
Right.
Then you have concerns, and I do have concerns. But yeah, and I don't blame any Nigerian who is cynical and who is of the view that this is just another opportunity to get money off the table. But you never know.
Right. Well, Mr. Oni, thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Ayodele Oni is an oil and gas expert who joined us this morning to speak on a statement by the NNPCL clarifying that it's not selling the Port Harcourt refinery and any other refinery under its control.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.